Welcome to Jewish Cinémathèque, where we meet some of the important faces involved with film and television that tackle aspects of the Jewish experience. Today I'm joined by writer and actor Dana Modan, whose television series Kachazeh, Significant Other, premiered in Israel in 2018, receiving several awards from the Israeli Television Academy, including Best Original Script. The 19-program series is now being streamed on HiFlix here.
מי זה?
שכנה, יש לי התקף לב.
מה?
יש לך אספירין אולי?
לא, אין לי כדורים.
הלב שלי סגור, נעול, מפתח בים, תודה רבה, שלום.
Prior to developing Significant Other, Modan created several series, including the primetime series Anada in 2012, which also garnered her a Best Original Script honor, in addition to Best Actress. Dana has acted extensively in film and television, including playing the part of Gali in the popular series Florentine. She and co-star Asi Cohen had previously worked together on the series Ahava Ze Ko'ev, Love Hurts, back in 2022. Dana, welcome to Jewish Cinémathèque.
Welcome, thank you.
So you've been creating television series. First, at one point you were hosting a TV program, and you've been creating television series now for, what, over 20 years?
Yes.
What pointed you in the direction of television?
I love television. As a child, I had no friends, so I was just sitting and watching television all day long. My parents were at work, so I was just alone at home all my childhood. So television was my good friend, and I didn't like going to school and didn't like going to kindergarten, so I just sat and watched television all day long, and I always wanted to do something. And then at high school, I went to study acting, and then afterwards, I also studied in the university. I studied acting, but I wasn't a good actress at first. So I went to auditions and I didn't get any parts. And then I said, okay, so I'll write something for myself, and nobody wants me. And I always loved writing since I was little. So I wrote to myself. And then I discovered that this is what I love to do, and this is, I think, what I'm good at. And
but the industry is so tight. I mean, you wrote something, but how did you get it produced?
Actually, I was really lucky because when I started, before I did my first series, I hosted a late night show. That I got to do this late night show because the network, they had this slot at midnight that they usually used to show concerts, and they say, why not give some young people do something there instead of just a rerun of concerts? So they gave us a budget of $2,000 for a 2-hour slot, including everything.
From midnight to 2 in the morning?
Yeah, including everything. Salary and studio and makeup, everything. So because no one wanted to do it for free, actually, so I was lucky to be able to do something like this, and it was a huge hit. We had it's unbelievable. It was like 18% share at 2 a.m. It's crazy. And
what channel was it on?
It was the main broadcaster, Channel 2, it called Keshet, and and it was a huge hit, and because it was such a huge hit, so I could say I want to do whatever I want. So I said I want to write, and they said okay. So they gave me money to do a pilot, so I did a pilot, and they didn't want the pilot, and I took it to another broadcaster, and it was a huge hit there. And since
A huge
then,
hit, you mean to say they bought into it, what you wrote. What made the original program such a hit? Was it you? Was it the guest you brought in?
I think it came after a long time of a desert in television drama. There was
What year are we talking about?
It's 2000.
1999, 2000.
Yes.
Okay.
2000. And but it aired. I started writing it, but it aired at 2004. And there wasn't many shows then. There were there was one drama in the 70s, and then there's almost nothing. And then there was a little revival at the 90s, but there was it's unbelievable to hear it here. But there were 4 drama shows. And now it's not like this. Now there's 2,000, I don't know, but then it was like a desert, and I really wanted to do it. So it was really fresh and new, and also it was very personal. I think as a writer, the more you go deep inside, you go more outside. I mean,
were you comfortable putting yourself out there in these stories? I mean, it's very, you exposed yourself.
It's the only way to write. It's I think that writing is like playing poker. I mean, if you put the more you put them, the more you pay no gain. The more you put on the table. So the audience have to put, if you want to be in the game. So I'm putting all my heart, you have to put all your heart. You can say I'm not in this game, I'm leaving the table. But if you're playing with me, what I give, you must give. So if I give all of myself, you have to give of yourself as an audience.
So your critics over the years have pointed to the fact that you've always been able to introduce a little bit of comedy into these very serious moments.
Yeah.
Is that just something, is that who you are? Or?
Yeah. I think the only way to live is with humor, because life can be really difficult. But in my point of view, everything is funny, everything is ridiculous. You can make. I'm going to make a feature film next year, which is a Holocaust comedy, which I feel as a Jew I'm entitled to do. I paid my dues. So I think you have to laugh at everything. Why not?
You want to make a Holocaust comedy. Do you have family who were the survivors?
Yeah.
Parents, grandparents?
My grandparents, not survivors. Many of my family died, yes. Died, murdered. So I think I'm entitled to whatever I want.
And are you going to star in this film also?
No, I'm going to direct it. I don't have a part in it. It's 30 years old and 80 years old, so there's no part for me there.
Let's go back to that first series that you did with Asi Cohen, because you're now doing this series, Significant Other, with him again. How did that come into being, and how did was Asi involved in helping to develop the project?
The first season or the second season?
Way back in 2000.
Way back? No, on the contrary. He didn't want to do it. And now we are really good friends, because we've been working together for over 20 years. But I wanted, he was, now he is like the biggest star in Israel, but then he wasn't. He was like a comedian that was doing small stages, and nobody knew him. And I saw him in a short film that Ram Nahari, the director of the 2 series,
Ram Nahari, who directed that series back then, and who's now the director of this.
So, and I said, he's the one that is my partner. And he didn't want to do it. And I chased him for like 2 years, and everybody told me, quit, don't do it. And I said, no, I have no series without him. This is the person to make it with. And nobody knew him. Nowadays, everybody wants him to star in their shows. But But then everybody told me, just forget about it, take someone else. And I say, no, there's no show without him. And he didn't want to do it, and eventually he wanted me to leave him alone. So he just, what you do when you don't want to do something and you don't want to be really rude. So he said like a huge amount of money, and I said, okay, I won't make any money from this show. You can take all my money, and so he had no choice. So he did it, but I'm not. It was worth it.
It's interesting you talk about that, the give and take between you and Asi back then. And there's a part of that in your new series.
Yes, because we're friends and we're writing together. So we're working with our stuff and our things, and the way we write, we just sit and we just invent. We tell you, yesterday I had this, tomorrow I have this, my father had this, my mother had this, and then we pick what is most funny and what makes us laugh, and then we continue in writing it.
Well, so the series was called Ahava Ze Ko'ev, Love Hurts.
Yeah.
And you did this back in 2002. You are, in the series, you're a TV host.
Yeah.
And he is what, a garage worker?
Yeah.
So just tell us a little bit about that and how that contrasts with this new series, Significant Other, and what that's about.
In that show back then, it was just because when I started it, I was, as I said...
they knew you as a TV host.
Yeah. So I said, okay, I'll go with it, because it makes it more believable. It makes the audience thinks that they are looking into my life. So it's make the audience more attached, I think. And I made him. He was working in the garage just to have, because the most interesting in rom-com is just as far as the characters are apart. So you have more way to bring them together. So that's why I thought that like the first way I can go from this. And this year's Kacha Ze Significant Other, it's something else. It's not connected. It's not like it's about us.
Your two
not
neighbors.
About us, but
your two neighbors across the hall from each other.
Yeah, and it starts when he is the two characters. They have one of the things about it that they have no names, and so the guy it starts when he is committing suicide.
Because
he just got divorced, and he wants to teach his wife a lesson. So he tried to commit suicide. So he's taking pills. He's taking propecia, for the heart to grow. And so he takes it, trying to kill himself, and then he's lying in bed and waiting for this to come, or his wife to find him. And then there's a knock on the door, and then the neighbor, and she's having a heart attack, and she's waiting for the ambulance, but she don't want to wait alone. So she disturbs him while he's committing suicide.
Again, this comedy of yours.
Yeah.
He wants to die, and she's dying.
Yeah. And then and she forced him, because this is also something from our dynamic, that I always force him to do things. So she forced him to wait with her, and when the ambulance comes, so he's fainting, and they're both evicted to the hospital, and from there it starts.
This back and forth, coming across neighbors, friends, lovers. What caught me was, and I don't know if this was your writing or if this was your director's approach, there are extended periods of time where we're just sitting there watching the two of you and trying to get into what you're thinking at that moment. Mm-hmm. Was this in your writing? Did you want us to really understand, without dialogue, what's going on?
Yeah, I think the most, the highest quality of writing, the holy grail of writing for me is no words. Because I think what I try to do, for me, less is more what I try to do in my writing, and what I spend most time in my writing about is just deleting deleting. I think as a viewer, as a watcher, you enjoy things much more if I make you think, if I make you understand, if I don't tell you everything. Then you can process it with yourself, and you think about yourself, because my mission is to heal the universe, to help people to understand what's wrong and maybe want to change something. So I think if I'm telling you, it's like, to a child, if you tell him what to do, he doesn't want to do it. But if you ask him what he wants to do, so then you make him do what he wants to do. You understand?
Yeah, there are moments when the two of you are just sitting on the couch, and nothing is happening.
Yeah.
And yet so much is happening.
Yeah.
It's just wonderful. Almost like a cinema verite, sort of a realistic, like where, our camera's looking in on a couple, but you're not a couple, and yet you are a couple.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the idea.
When you were developing Significant Other, you drew a lot, I take it, from your own personal life?
I take from my personal life, I take from Asi's personal life, I take from my friends, I take from TV, I take from movies, I take from books, I take from everything. I follow people in the street. Now it's very easy with the cell phones that everything is outside, and people if I see a couple fighting on the street, I will can walk blocks and blocks after them, and I remember everything, and then I write it. So it's mix of everything, but mainly it's not about me. It's more about my point of view. I mean, there's a lot of my life in it, but a lot of things I see around me.
But it really deals with some very serious issues. What it is to be a middle-aged woman without children, and sort of like, you're divorced, right? You're widowed, right? A great moment.
Yeah.
But what, you don't count. So is that what's happening in Israeli society today?
Wow. What happens in Israeli society? Let's not go into it. It's so complex, and there's so many things.
For you as a woman,
I never think of myself as a woman. I think of myself as a person, and I do what I do, and I never had any disadvantage because being a woman, and I always do what I want. My salary is always the highest because I care about it, and so I don't have this problem. I do feel that I have, like, I want to help other women and to show that it's possible to make everything. About the caring, it is in Israel the issue of having children or not. Yeah, it's a big issue, and I really don't understand why. I don't understand. It's such a personal thing. It just, I don't know why it's worth something for the society. I don't know, maybe it makes soldiers in Israel. I don't know, people say that, but it's really, I really, really can't understand it. Why somebody would care if somebody has kids or not. It's something you do for yourself, for your enjoyment, for your thing, I don't know. But it's really, I don't understand. So this is my criticism about the society. What do you care, really? Because I really don't understand.
See, I don't want to give any spoilers away. I want everyone to watch the series. But there's a moment where you have choice about whether you yourself want to have a child or not. And it's a fascinating question for you as a woman. And then just before you're having this imaginary conversation with your parents.
Yeah.
But it seems like your father can do whatever he wants and your mother can't.
Yeah.
So you're really digging at some of the issues within Israeli society.
No, this is not Israeli society. This is more personal, and I think this is my view of the generation before me that was really different. What a woman could do and couldn't do. and what men let women, it's unthinkable, that a man has to let his woman do something.
But that's what you hear from your father.
But that, not my father, but
no,
yes,
but I mean your imaginary father.
Yes, but no, it was like this, So, my mother, she was a professor, very, very big professor in the world. She was a scientist, and and both my parents were scientists. But my father did only his work, and my mother did her work, and also raised 3 daughters, and it still didn't change a lot, sadly. But the change is really is very slow. But I think it's one of the things I'm doing. I think I try to make women think. I don't know.
But I would imagine, as a woman in this industry, is it just as easy to break into television today in Israel if you're a woman?
I think today, I tell you really, I don't think in those terms. I never thought, okay, I'm going to make it, but I'm a woman, I'm not a woman. If anything, I think it was easier, because when I was younger and I just started to go and, pitch my things, and there were always only men in the room, and I would go into the room and I would start pitch, and I always felt like when I was talking, they were, oh, look, it's a talking dog. Like it's a miracle that I make sense with the words that come from my mouth. So I thought it was they were so surprised. I felt it was easier for me. I think I don't like the kind of thing that you blame the other. I think everybody is responsible. Of course, there are things that are tough, but also I think you have, beside those things, to remember that there is also a personal responsibility. And I think that a lot of time women are blaming the other side also in relationship. I know from talking for years and years with girlfriends and women, because it's what I do.
We see this in the series where they're blaming each other.
Yeah, but usually when 2 girlfriends would talk, say, oh, he's doing me this and that and this and that and this, and it's almost never, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Women will almost never, ever, you think what I'm doing, what's my part in it. So I'm also trying to say, no, we have part, everyone in a relationship, everyone is responsible in 100%. It's not 50-50, not 40-60, it's 100 and 100. I think really everyone can do whatever he wants. You just have to, it's so cliche, but really to believe and to do it, and not to think there are always obstacles to everyone. And I think now it's become, the people start to realize things, so there are all these 50-50, so there are a lot of opportunities for women.
That's terrific.
And
so you don't feel in any way hindered as a woman?
No, on the contrary.
Great. I want to shift gears a little bit, because what we're seeing in the United States is this. I mean, there was a time when I remember that in the Israeli film industry in particular, we don't have good writers, we don't have good stories, we need help. And now we have Israelis being brought to the United States to teach writing. But what we're seeing is a lot of television series coming on to streaming services, which is quite wonderful. So you're able to see, over a dozen different programs. Yeah. Is that going, you see that as, your other series, nobody in the United States ever saw that. And you did 6, 7 different series before this?
I did 7. The 7th is going to air this February. So 6 were.
So there's now hope that these kinds of things can reach a broader audience around the world. Yeah.
I don't think about it when I write because that's what I do. But I think now things starts to happen, and it's really nice.
Yeah, and if they're foreign sales, you have a bigger budget for your next project, I would imagine. No.
Only if I'll do it here, yes. But in Israel, the budgets are really low.
One of the beautiful things in the series is that you have almost cameo roles for some of Israel's most well-known actors.
Yeah.
I mean, it's wonderful to see Lior Ashkenazi as your cardiologist,
Yeah.
giving you, telling. Do these stars actually come to you and say, I'd love to have a part in your series?
Yeah, it's okay. Let me explain. There is Israel, but the culture. I think Tel Aviv. It's like New York and the States. Okay, so all the culture in the States there are also more places. But in Israel, there's Tel Aviv. Everything happens in Tel Aviv. All the culture, all the creative people, they're all in Tel Aviv. And Tel Aviv is a very small city, very small. It's like the East Village, really small. So everyone. It's a small industry, and especially when you live many years, and so everyone. And so it's like I see Leo every day in the cafe, in the street. I see everyone every day. So I'm doing a series. You want to come? Okay. Oh, I'm doing. Oh, you're doing a series. I want to come. It's like this. It's like it's in the cafe. It's not. And then usually it goes through an agent, and the agent say no, and then I call them and I say, your agent say no, but are you coming? Yes, of course I'm coming. It's like this. It's like children playing. So it's really nice. That's the nice thing about being in a small place.
So when you approached Asi to come back and work with you again, I take it you didn't have a lengthy problem. Did he just jump right in, or he approached you?
Me, actually, yes.
So tell me about that.
About the second time,
yeah,
it was really nice because after the first series, we didn't talk for 5 years. We were angry at each other.
I don't want to ask. I don't want to ask what happened.
And then it's very nice for the Jewish channel because it was after 5 years we didn't talk. It was the eve before Yom Kippur Eve, and I said,
all the better.
Yeah. So I said, okay, I'm gonna text him because a while before he met me and he said like in a screening, and he said maybe someday we'll do something together again. That's it. So the day before Yom Kippur Eve, I texted him and I said, okay, it's Yom Kippur tomorrow, maybe we have to say sorry for each other, maybe we'll do something together. And I said, no, but already by then he was a huge star, and I said maybe we'll do something together, but maybe you're so busy for the next 50 years. So, and then I didn't even press send, and he answered me, let's meet in the morning. And we met, and we started immediately working, and it was nice because the paparazzi got a shot of us, so we also have the picture how
everyone knew that you weren't talking.
Yeah, and so nobody knew this, but I mean everyone knew that we're starting something, and we didn't even know what it's gonna be. And he said, what we're gonna do, what it's gonna be about, and I said, I don't know. I just know that in the future it already exists, and we just have to swim together. And that's what happened.
And boy, do they swim together. The series is called Significant Other. It's written and stars, written by and stars Dana Modan. It's a must. It's just wonderful watching the interaction between these two characters, these two neighbors. And I congratulate you. It's great. And
Thank you.
Much success. Hatzlacha rabah.
Thank you. Toda.